Heralded by the New York Times as a leading light of the New York bluegrass scene, Michael Daves brings a fresh voice to a style leaning on the traditional ways of its past. While Michael's technique is wholeheartedly bluegrass, he isn't afraid to let his musical spirit guide him into many facets of the musical spectrum. I'm Ben from Paper Swan, and you're watching B-Side, your #1 source for Brooklyn's freshest and finest sounds. Michael Daves is here tonight to play some bluegrass music and talk about his upcoming Twin Albums project. Keep it locked for the next hour to see and hear Michael for yourself. At home and here in the studio, brace yourself because we're in for a sweet treat right here on B-Side. That was great, Michael. Thank you. That sounded awesome. What was the name of that song?
It was called Train on the Island.
Train on the Island.
Not sure what it means.
Yeah? There's an island somewhere and there's a train on it. Cool. Yeah, I mean, your playing is so natural. That's like the first thing I notice when you play is like you're so relaxed and like you play ridiculous lines and scales. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some guitar players out there that like recognize what you're doing a little bit. Like how do you like develop your style and like where are you coming from with guitar playing?
Well, I mean, as far as bluegrass guitar, just listen to a lot of fiddle players. I love hearing old-time fiddle players and banjo players. I don't really listen to a lot of guitar music.
Yeah.
I'd rather hear what the other instruments are doing, and definitely Bill Monroe mandolin style. That all just kind of comes out on the guitar. Yeah. For me.
Cool. Yeah, so you don't listen to guitar players, but
well, I do, but it's not a focus, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Guitar players are a dime a dozen. I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're certainly not one, but you know. Yeah. Would you say you try to emulate other instruments on the guitar? Is that
yeah, definitely. You know, just to kind of try to get out of the old ruts. You know, it's good to try to get the guitar to, you know, do what other instruments can do. You never really can, but just the process of trying, you can kind of find some new sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I noticed you play with that guitar a lot, and like, it's kind of like, what is that guitar about?
What is guitar? Well, I use it primarily when I'm playing solo because it's got a lot of buzzes and rattles and stuff. So it kind of fills in the upper end of the spectrum, sort of like cymbals, like if I had a drum set, you know. So,
Yeah.
And since I'm playing with other musicians, I usually go for another guitar because this doesn't really play well with others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. What kind of guitar is that?
It's a True Tone, which is basically the Montgomery Ward department store brand.
Yeah.
So it would have sold probably new in the late 1950s to the department store for like, you know, $18, $20, something like that. So it's all plywood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bluegrass music is something that you come from. It's something that you like are kind of embodying right now. I would say in New York, but like you're not from here. Where do you hail from?
Well, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and yeah, bluegrass. It was in the air. It was in my family. My parents played fiddle and banjos. So there was a lot of music in the house growing up, and they'd have parties with their musician friends, and
yeah, but you
couldn't help really but absorb it.
Yeah,
I fought it for a while, but
yeah,
because
definitely.
it was what my parents did, and you know, like when you're 14, you don't want to like
yeah
do that, but it stuck. It sunk in.
Yeah,
I came back to it pretty hard, you know.
Yeah, what other sort of musical like places did you go like with your studies and like your life?
Well, it's kind of all the typical stuff, you know, kid growing up in the suburbs, you know, in the early 90s, you know, it was a lot of
yeah.
You know, the music of that time, and certainly growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, I was really into like early REM
Okay.
at one point. And then of course like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and all that like rock stuff. And that's mostly what I wanted to play when I was, you know, starting to play guitar.
Okay. What age were you when you picked up guitar?
I was probably about 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was there one sitting around like in your musical
Yeah, there were a lot of
house?
guitars sitting around, but what it was, we had a French exchange student stay with us one summer who was 15, and he was like really into Yngwie Malmsteen and like all this like metal shredder stuff.
Okay.
And I thought he was so cool, and I was playing piano at that time, and so I'm like, no, man. And I could see that he was like, you know, getting
You were
dates
like,
and
"That's it."
stuff, and
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
Yeah, it really dawned on me later that it might have been because he was French and not because he played the guitar, but it was lost on me. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, now you're like the Southern guy in New York, so that you got that going for you now. I'm sure that works out.
Well, New York has been very welcoming for bluegrass music. It's been a really great scene has developed here in the last 10, 15 years. So.
When did you come here and start doing?
I came to New York in 2003.
Okay.
I've been living in Western Massachusetts before that, where I went to college.
Yeah.
And
cool. And you studied jazz guitar?
I did, yeah.
At
Well,
college?
not guitar so much, but you know, composition and arranging.
Okay.
Got to work with a great jazz musician, Yusef Lateef, taught where I went to college. So,
awesome.
So that was a real inspiration, even though I didn't really kind of follow those footsteps stylistically ultimately, but he was.
Yeah, certainly put you on a path of musical interest.
Yusef was really big, but he really wanted his students to find their own voice and sound like themselves, and so
yeah,
you know, I just tried to take that to heart and
cool.
You know what I did moving forward, which I think is really important when you're playing traditional music, is because you're doing this old stuff that's been around for a long, but everyone performing it really needs to kind of put themselves into it, and that's kind of what it's for. It's just a template for, you know, putting your own experiences and emotions and whatnot, and
yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Cool. Cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and hear another one.
All right.
Well, yeah. Can you do 2 more for us right now?
Sure. Awesome. I'll do my favorite song about gardening. Here. There should be flowers all around me, but when I look around, not a one could I see. If it only takes dirt to make flowers grow, there should be bouquets in the dirt that you throw. Not even a trace
would be mine. But misery and sorrow is all that you sow. There should be bouquets in the dirt that you throw. I gave them the rain that falls from my face. There's not one petal, not even a trace. And you can't understand why flowers won't grow. There should be bouquets in the dirt that you throw. There should be bouquets in the dirt that you throw.
All right. Yeah, that one I actually learned from some friends of my parents, and were sort of mentors to me growing up. Barbara and Whit actually just recorded one of their songs that I'll do later. This is the fascinating part of the program tonight.
For the first time I saw Donna Corey, I was standing on the banks of the sea, with a pistol around her body and a banjo on her knee. Dig a hole in the meadow, dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, got laid on the Corey down. Wake up, Donna Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? Where the highway robbers are coming, gonna burn the playhouse down. Dig a hole in the meadow, dig a hole in the cold, cool ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, gonna lay Donna Corey down. Wake up, Donna Corey. Go get me my gun. Well, I ain't a man for trouble, but I die before I run. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Gonna lay Donna Corey down. Can't hear the bluebirds singing, can't hear that mournful sound. Calling out Corey's funeral on the lonesome graveyard around. Dig a hole in the meadow, dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, gonna lay Donna Corey down. Dig a hole in the meadow, dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, gonna lay Donna Corey down.
Thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. What were those songs called?
The first one is called "The Dirt That You Throw,"
Okay.
and the second one is "Darling Corey," which is a classic song about death and moonshine, and been around forever.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I heard you attend church every Sunday. Is that true?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice, cool. Do you play there and perform?
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Okay, nice.
And other times I just sing real loud.
Yeah. What type of music is played there?
Well, you know, either hymns, or when I show up, it's weird mountain bluegrass
Yeah.
gospel stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Is that I mean anyone who's like followed you on like Kickstarter and stuff, like you recorded your newest album, and is that the church that you recorded in?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Cool.
there's this it's an old. It's actually the Brooklyn Mother Church. It was the first church in Brooklyn. It was
Okay.
founded in 1654. It's in Park Slope.
That's awesome.
The building's not that old, but it's called Old First Reformed Church. Yeah, they have a really amazing sounding upper hall where I've always loved getting to make music, and
Okay.
I've recorded in there several different projects. I did an album I produced for Jen Larson, who's a great bluegrass singer here in town. And then when it was time for me to make my own album, I knew I wanted to do it in there because it's this really special space,
Cool.
and all the musicians I've ever brought in there have just been, amazed.
Yeah.
Everyone plays better and just has a great time,
Nice.
with
And
the acoustics.
yeah, I mean you recorded your new album in like 3 days, right?
Yeah, well, which
Over-
part? Because one of them took 3 days, the other one took 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
tell
making
us a little bit
two
about
albums,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Twin Albums Project, like that's a cool name. It describes like a project in motion, kind
Yeah,
of like.
I haven't settled on the titles of the records too, but yeah, the concept is just made 2 records, and they have the same songs on them in the same order.
Okay.
But the first one is Bluegrass, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
No surprise there. And the second one is sort of an experimental electric album. It's all the same songs. I redid them
Wow.
completely. Some of them just built them back up from the ground, and their drums and weird sounds and electric instruments, and
Cool.
the idea is just to, in the first record, just to honor the bluegrass tradition, which I'm very much part of and love, and I got just handpicked band, really great group of musicians. Got Brittany Haas and Noah McKilney and Sarah Jarose and Mike Bubb are the core band, and got them in pretty much my favorite space.
Okay.
And we spent 3 days making a bluegrass record.
Okay. So the bluegrass one was the 3 days one.
Yep.
Electric one was a little longer.
Yeah, that one was the more drawn out.
Yeah.
And,
Why do you think that is? Like what?
Well,
What was
probably because
the-
I wasn't trying to do it all at once. I just worked on it over time because there's a lot of layering,
Okay.
and I did pretty much almost all the instruments,
Okay.
except for bass, and had a cameo by Tony Trishka on one track on the cello banjo. But other than that,
Okay.
I did everything. So it just kind of took,
Awesome. Did it yourself in the studio.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So it took time, and there was a lot. It was kind of a process of invention.
Okay.
It was new music, and I'd never done an album that way. Just doing all the parts myself. So there's a lot to learn
Yeah.
about how to go about it, and trial and error, and
Cool.
you know.
Yeah. I want to talk more about it, but for now, let's hear
Yeah.
another song. And
Okay.
Yeah. Keep it.
Well, all right, I'm gonna do. This is a song. This is not from the bluegrass tradition. It's recording by a band, Mother Love Bone. You can look them up. But made a bluegrass version of the song Stargazer.
Crazy, crazy, I'm all wrong. Vicious, young and wild. Oh, she lifts me higher than anyone. Open arms. her soul. Stargazer, you call the shots, I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you get with me? Stargazer, you call the shots, I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you get with me? Dance, dance, I'm all wrong. She thinks she's young and wise. Oh, she gets me higher than anyone. How I miss her so. Stargazer, you call the shots, and I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you get with me? Stargazer, you call the shots, I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you get with me? Stargazer, you call the shots, I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you kick with me? Stargazer, you call the shots, I'll take 'em. Stargazer, won't you kick with me? Stargazer, you crying blue. Anything I've ever seen, it ain't as good as you, child. I'm not trying to push your feelings, but you know you hold me like buddy in your hands. Cry for me and rub it in. Cry for the Savior and the prophet's son. Cry for me and Juliet. Oh, won't you come back again? Cry for me and Juliet. Oh, won't you come back again?
Who was that by again?
Mother Love Bone.
Mother Love Bone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They were a
Who are
Seattle
they?
band
Yeah.
that kind of little predecessor to the whole grunge scene. And actually members went on to form Pearl Jam
Okay,
and other bands.
nice. Look
Yeah.
that up. I'm gonna check them out.
Great stuff.
Do some research. Nice.
They didn't know they were a bluegrass band, but
Yeah, yeah. That's what you're here for.
That's right.
Channel the spirits. Cool. Yeah, so we were talking about this album coming out. I mean, yeah, I'm really interested in this process of like the electric recording. So you did all of the instruments yourself?
yeah, except for bass.
Okay. Who played bass?
My wife, Jessie
Okay.
Carter.
Nice.
Yeah,
Drums? Did you do drums?
I played the drums. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you singing on it too?
Oh yeah.
It's like the same songs,
The same songs. Yeah.
same length, like on each song.
Not necessarily. I did different things with arrangements and certainly the textures, and sometimes like would just rewrite the chord progressions and melodies, and
Okay.
it's totally different aesthetic direction.
Cool. Yeah. You can't play them like together, and there's like some magical thing happening. Have you done that
haven't
yet?
tried, but that would be cool if there was some sort of like Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon
Yeah.
correlation between them. But I'm just going to leave that
Yeah,
open
to the fans.
for the listeners to figure out for themselves.
Cool. Cool. Nice.
I can assure you that it was not intentional. If there was anything.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I'm sure there's some people out there in the TV world who don't know much about bluegrass and kind of like what's going on here. Obviously, it's like an acoustic genre of music.
Yeah.
You play the acoustic guitar and sing, but like there's a couple variations of it. There's like old time music, mountain music, and like bluegrass. Like, what do those mean to you, and like where do you think you are?
Well, bluegrass is actually kind of a modern style. People think of it as being really old, and it does have roots that are very old. But it formed in the mid '40s. Really, or coalesced rather in the mid '40s, and so like 20 or more years later than jazz.
Okay.
But it's it has a lot of the fiddle tunes from old time music. But then also it has improvisation. There's basically hillbilly musicians have been like here in Duke Ellington,
Yeah.
and the blues, and started just putting together music that reflected like all those different influences. And so when it formed, it was really a totally new hybrid.
Yeah.
Reflecting a lot of different kinds of American music that had come before it. So. So. Yeah, I mean, I think that and it's this weird thing because people think of it, they have this sometimes very set idea of what bluegrass is and what traditional bluegrass sounds like, and
Yeah.
when it was new, when it was becoming that thing we know as bluegrass music, it was a totally new genre that people were just experimenting with and
Yeah.
blending a bunch of different influences. So I think that there's kind of this balance you got to strike as a bluegrass musician between kind of honoring that tradition, which is a beautiful thing, and but then
Putting in a
you got to figure out
90s
how to
grudge
kind of put your own
song
spin
and
on
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So there've been a lot through the years. A lot of people have done various things with it. Certainly brought in songs from outside of bluegrass and
All right.
brought in other instruments and.
Yeah. Nice. Let's hear another one.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire it up.
This song is by Whit Connor, who was mentioned earlier. He and his wife Barbara, friends of my parents, and definitely kind of formative musical influences growing up, and great singers. And first time I heard this song, was saying it just bowled me over. I loved it. And I'm saying, where can I get a recording of that? And he says, well, it's never been recorded. I'm like, can I try? He's like, yeah, sure, record it. So, 6 or 7 years later, finally put it on. This is on the records that are coming out. On the bluegrass side, I do it as a duet with Sarah Jarosz, great mandolin player and singer. It's really supposed to be a duet. I'm going to violate that here. One called Dark Angel.
I heard a loud crying, calling my name. I saw angels fly, and darkly they came. Thunder and lightning lit up my bed. I knew I was dead. It was only a dream out of my drunken head. And then I arose and staggered the floor. I pulled on my clothes and fell out the door. Out on the sidewalk, fell to my knees. won't get drunk no more. More if you forgive me. I staggered back home to my kids and my wife with just one more chance. We could start a new life. But the face of the stranger came out from my door. Who are you looking for? I heard him say, they say she don't live here no more. Yes, she moved away 1 year ago. Just of her and her children, where I don't know. Said her husband died a drunkard, it was a shame. And he spoke my name. I saw angels fly, fly, and darkly they came.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great song.
Yeah. So your neighbor wrote that from growing up?
I mean, friend of my parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Whitcona, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Is the person who wrote it, are they a musician?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, is that
Oh,
is
yeah.
that their job or? Is it-
Professional? Well, probably not as a full-time career, but they.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whit and Barbara played all over Atlanta. We used to go to hear them all the time
Cool. Cool.
when I was growing up.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. So yeah, we've talked about Atlanta and the South and New York. Who are some of the other musicians like from New York that you're playing with? I mean, we know Chris Thiele, definitely a guy you've like collaborated with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thiele is he's not in New York right now, but he moved to New York a couple years after I did, and I was certainly aware of Chris through his work with Nickel Creek and just being a sort of groundbreaking mandolin player, and just he's showed up to this Bluegrass jam on Wednesday nights. One night in August, he was thinking about moving to New York, and
Yeah.
it was kind of dead of the summer. There weren't many people there, and we just kind of hit it off and
Cool.
ended up, playing until the wee hours, and
Yeah.
the rest is history. And then we ended up, eventually making a record. And
Yeah. You helped bring Chris here, kind of.
I wouldn't say that. I think he was coming to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about New York is that it attracts people who are just the best at what they do. Like someone like Chris is just. You could say that he's unparalleled as a mandolin player, and so
Yeah.
people like that need a place like New York because you're going to run it even if there's not like a better mandolin player, you're going to run into someone who's better at something.
Yeah.
You'd be rubbing elbows with someone who's going to humble you and challenge you and inspire you and it might be some different discipline, but
Yeah.
so he came here seeking that sort of challenge and kind of fertile creative environment, and
Yeah.
as a
Totally.
lot of other people in bluegrass. And
Yeah. Where are some of the places like we can see bluegrass in the city and like hear you play?
well, the Rockwood Music Hall is a place I play every Tuesday night down Lower East Side, and they a lot of they book a fair amount of bluegrass. I mean, they book all, across all sorts of music, but
Yeah.
that's definitely one of the stops the bluegrass bands will make. The Jalopy Theater in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
The Living Room, which is now in Williamsburg. Those are three of the big places, and then.
Yeah. Are you still doing your jam on Wednesdays?
I host a jam first Mondays of the month at the Rockwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
And that's open?
Totally open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just definitely another a really interesting and I think compelling facet of bluegrass music is that it's very highly participatory.
Yeah.
That compared to other kinds of music, I think a really high percentage of bluegrass fans also play an instrument, and so a lot of people when they go to a bluegrass festival or whatnot, they might go just as much to like for the jamming and the campgrounds as they do for hearing the musicians on stage. And it's the sort of music where you might like some of the performers who are there at the festival might go wander around in the campgrounds and jam, and
Yeah.
there's a chance for like people who've like just picked up an instrument 2 months ago and just know 3 songs, they might end up jamming with
Yeah.
Chris Thiele or
A Michael Day. Yeah. Cool.
So it's really bluegrass jams are kind of by design accommodate like a really wide range of skill levels and levels of experience. So
yeah.
it's fun to have just an open jam and you kind of try to accommodate everyone.
Yeah. It's
And
great.
It works.
It's great that you do that. I mean, you're definitely like an accomplished musician, and you open it up to anyone. Have you ever had like an experience where it's like a little too participatory, or someone like
Well,
bringing the wrong
being in New
instrument or
York,
something?
you're going to have like a drunk guy with the spoons show
Yeah.
up and then want to
Pretty
like
much every
jam, or
time.
like someone with a djembe, or it's like
Yeah.
out of time or whatever. Yeah, that's just like there's always this wild card, and you just kind of
Yeah.
as much as you can sort of embrace the X factor or whatever that may be.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, all in all, I mean, people just play the classics,
Yeah. Do you have like a lot of fans that show up time after time, like steady people that come to those jams?
Well, to the jams, I mean, it's just I don't know about fans, but it's like people who just want to play. It's just an opportunity to like get and like connect with other people, and
Yeah.
New York is such a big place that it's really valuable to have a small scene like this where you can show up and see people month after month, and so I think it provides an important sort of social point of connection for the people who go, and so it's not so much about like ooh, this player or that player is there, but
Yeah.
everyone's just it's a fun thing to do, and it's just it's a form of community.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind doing another one?
Sure.
Right over.
Let's see. I think it's actually Murder Ballad time. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
Go from talking about community and like how like warm and fuzzy, the jam session is, now we've got to do a song about murder.
Yeah.
That's another facet of bluegrass music that's I think really compelling. It's like all the gruesome
Tales.
death songs and sordid stories. This is very old, very, very old song, filtered down through the ages, and I put it on the records. It's called Pretty Polly.
Oh, Polly, pretty Polly, won't you take me unkind? Polly, pretty Polly, won't you take me unkind? Sit down beside me, let me tell you my mind. Oh, my mind is to marry and never to part. My mind is to marry and never to part. The first time I saw you, it wounded my heart. your wife. Oh, Polly, pretty Polly, that never can be. Pretty Polly, that never can be. Fast reputation is trouble to me. So you open up her bosom, as white as any snow. Open up her bosom, white as any snow. Stab through the heart, the blood will overflow. Threw a little dirt over her, start to go home. Leave dirt over her and start to go home. Leave nothing behind but the girl there to mourn.
So that's the first murder ballad of the night.
That's right.
What's that song called?
It's called Pretty Polly.
Cool. Who would you say like has a definitive recording of that like you have listened to and would like recommend?
I have to say Ralph Stanley.
Ralph Stanley.
Yeah.
Nice.
As
who's
he
Ralph
tends to do. Yeah, well, Ralph Stanley.
Tell us.
Dr. Ralph, he's one half of the Stanley brothers. His brother Carter passed away in the 1960s, and before that they had recorded some of those, classic definitive bluegrass material from the late 40s on.
Yeah.
And Ralph's gone on to have a solo career, and he's kind of the elder statesman of bluegrass music. He's got a really distinctive voice. People don't know the name Ralph Stanley. You know his voice from the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack. He sang Oh Death, and wrote Man of Constant Sorrow. But yeah, Ralph has sounded like he was approximately 117 years old since he was 30. And just chilling singer.
Would you say he's like a big influence on your vocal styling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the caveat is that I don't sound like Ralph Stanley, and
Yeah.
could never hope to. But yeah, I mean, you can't hear that and
Yeah. Who else?
not be inspired by it.
Who else are like some of your influences for like singing?
Well, certainly within bluegrass, definitely Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass music, and Jimmy Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of obvious choices.
I know Bill Monroe. Who's Jimmy Martin? I'm not too familiar with him.
Okay. Bill Monroe was the proclaimed by everyone else the father of bluegrass music. He's kind
Right.
of credited with
Coming up with the term and like
yeah,
making it a thing.
Yeah, the bluegrass music kind of developed in his band,
Right.
which was the Bluegrass Boys, and
Right.
he's from the state of Kentucky. And anyways, Jimmy Martin came along really in the 50s and started out as the lead singer in Bill's band, but then went on to make his own body of classic recordings. And the title Father of Bluegrass Music was already taken. And
Okay.
rightfully by Bill Monroe, and so Jimmy was the self-proclaimed king of bluegrass.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
sort of a tortured soul, a very flamboyant character, and
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, like Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys were like that. Would you say that name kind of like became the genre? Like.
yeah, it's sort of like Kleenex or Xerox or
Right.
something. It just
And I've heard
becomes what
this.
you ask for when you want that kind of music.
Yeah, I've heard the story is like there's bluegrass in Kentucky. Like, is that? Have you heard that before? It's like there's a type of grass. Called bluegrass.
It's an actual.
That's a
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky was called the Bluegrass State
Okay.
because of the grass.
Yeah.
For, long before Bill Monroe.
Okay.
But yeah. Then the music.
He just looked around and was like, "That's the name.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the name
yeah.
for this genre."
Yeah. Well, he took his music to Nashville, which is where the Grand Ole Opry was, and that was kind of the
Okay.
place you want to be if you're a country musician.
Yeah.
And but he wanted to make his roots clear,
Okay. So like country music was happening. I mean, there was folk music, I guess, long before this, and like old time traditional.
Well, there was a time like where there wasn't really much of a distinction between country music and what we know as bluegrass. You know, that like Bill Monroe was pop country.
Yeah, like
you know,
toward
in
the
19,
nation.
You know, 43 and 46 and 48 and all that, and then really after rock and roll hit, Elvis came in and kind of electrified and it caused this like dramatic split within country music that like there's the old style string bands, acoustic.
Yeah, so they were like, we have
marginalized.
We have to hold on to this. And
and then Nashville kind of commercial country kind of got slick and was like trying to compete with rock and roll because rock and roll had like taken such a huge part of the audience.
Okay.
All of a sudden, so then
Yeah, interesting. So it's like the technological innovations of like the 50s that like electrified music kind of like formed like the influences of like these acoustic musicians that keep going with their thing.
I mean, Elvis's first hit was Blue Moon of Kentucky, which was a Bill Monroe song, and but like that rock and roll coming, it just did marginalize Bill Monroe, and he was kind of like scraping by until the folk revival came along, and it's like all like the northern college kids, in the 60s, like started parading around,
right,
Bill Monroe and all these people as, beacons of authenticity,
cool.
And gave their careers new leases in life, and that's why we have bluegrass music today, and the festival scene is because of the folk revival.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have another one for us?
Sure.
Cool.
This is an old time number. Got a lot of different names. Sometimes it's called Rye Whiskey or Jack of Diamonds. Called the Drunken Hiccups. This is a little different version of it. This is not the old time version.
I played cards in England, I gambled in Spain. We're going back to Rhode Island, gonna play my last game. Gonna tune up my fiddle, gonna rosin my bow. Gonna make myself welcome wherever I go. Jack of diamonds, I know you from old. Rob my poor pockets of silver and gold. Whiskey and pretty women will be my downfall. They beat me and they bang me, but I love them for all. My clothes are all tore up, my toes sticking out. Gonna drink some corn liquor and I'm going up the spout. Gonna beat on the counter, gonna make the glass ring. More brandy, more brandy, more brandy to bring. Gonna drink, gonna gamble, my money's my own. And them that don't like it, gonna leave me alone. Gonna eat when I'm hungry, gonna drink when I'm dry. I get the feeling much better about the brown wings that fly. Jack of diamonds, I know you from old. From my poor pockets of silver and gold. If the river were whiskey and I was a duck, I'd die
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for coming by. I think that's it for the day,
All
for
right.
the night. Yeah,
Thanks
that was
for having
great.
me.
Yeah, that was an hour. You just performed
Flew
for an
by.
hour. We talked. Yeah, yeah, come on. Any like final words? Any final words for our audience?
Oh, well, thank you all for coming here. It's great to actually play for actual living, breathing people. I mean, I've done like radio and TV before, like you just play the song in the studio and then it's just like dead.
All
There's
right.
like no
All
one
right.
there, so.
Cool. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you so much, Michael Daves, for sharing your music and musical journey with us tonight. You can catch Michael every Tuesday night at Rockwood Music Hall in Manhattan and be on the lookout for his upcoming Twin Albums project. You can watch this and all other episodes anytime at bricartsmedia.org/B-side. Don't forget to tune in next Thursday to hear more of the best sounds of Brooklyn. I'm your host, Ben, from Paper Swan, saying good night from Brick House. Michael, thank you.
Tonight, got you on my mind. Tonight, you keep on crying. We found someone that was new. There's someone that you knew was true. Tonight, got you on my mind. Tonight, you're as I can be. Don't know what become of me. When we used to walk out alone with an aching heart, that my love is gone tonight. Lose I can be. Tonight, I'm all alone. Used to call you on the telephone. When you used to call and to make you glad. Now I call and to make you mad tonight. 'Cause I'm all alone. Tonight, I'm by myself. Since you put me up on the shelf, we're just one thing you should know. You're gonna reach just what you sow tonight. All by myself. Tonight, got you on my mind. Tonight, can't keep from crying. With just one thing you should know, you're gonna reap just what you sow tonight. I'm on my mind. Tonight, do as I can be. Don't know what come of me. When we used to walk alone with an aching heart, that my love is gone tonight.